Where are the birds?
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look.
Woo! Yeah!
I secretly work for you,
Is it possible you're on the second screen kind of thing? Or is it possible your slides are just completely gray?
That's fun.
The gray lady talk was the talk before you.
So 777. What was that number?
Skip footage.
CSS.
Put that in a time future.
What was the next one?
This is what we struggled with pre-hologram years.
Alright, so
That's
worse.
Someone's got it. Yeah.
Alright, we go back. I'm gonna go with this because it almost kind of works. Somebody talking about making cooperative gifts with WebRTC, which I don't even know what that means, so I just needed a word to describe it. So I'm Dan. I work at Tumblr with the fourth row of people minus one. So you can find me on Tumblr at yourdilly.tumblr.com, on Twitter at danordilly.com, or danhatestwitter.com. If you actually want to see stuff that I hate, a guy who works at Tumblr actually curates a blog called Stuff Dan Hates. And it's a list of all the things that I hate. So if you're interested in things I actually hate, you should go there. So back a couple years ago, or 2 years ago, two of my friends and I made this app called Mosaic for Node Knockout. And we ran into some issues with deploying it, and so we never actually got it up online. I think back then Nojitsu wouldn't let you have 2 ports. We needed 1 port for our sockets and 1 port for the server. So never got deployed, but it allows you to make Gifs with you and multiple people using WebRTC. So here's kind of what you end up getting. You go on with a bunch of people, you sit in front of a webcam, and you pose, you take a picture, and then you get this cool GIF of you and your friends that you can share. So to make it, so the tools that we used were Get User Media, which is supported on a lot of browsers now, RTC Peer Connection, RTC Data Channel, just Canvas Element, and Gif.js. And so the first part is how do you get video from a user's camera into the web browser. And so to do that, we use Get User Media. It's got this cool API. It's pretty simple. I'm going to see if I can get the next one. So you call Navigator Get User Media. In most cases, you'll probably want to shim this because I think it's different for every single browser still. It's WebKit Get User Media or MZ Get User Media. So you pass it constraints whether or not you want video or audio, and then a success and error callback. So another case for maybe callback speed promises. You implement these three functions, and then you have a way of getting video data into the browser. And one of the cool things is that just now, you won't be able to really see it, but it's supported in all major browsers other than Safari, and it's also now supported in Chrome for Android, so you can make apps that leverage this on the phone. So we got a quick demo. It's real simple. I'm just going to click this, and you can see me, or part of me. My name tag. And that's all just using this code right here. So it's really, really simple to just get video from JavaScript into the browser. So the next part, I'm going to refresh, it's the demos. I use this, I don't know what it's called, I'll say it at the end, but it's this cool presentation JavaScript that lets you write HTML and scripts inline, which is kind of neat. So the next part of this is the RTC peer connection. So what this allows you to do is to create peer-to-peer connections between different clients using JavaScript. And the other awesome thing, again, it's supported in all major browsers, and just now Chrome for Android supports it, and even Opera Mobile. But sadly, there's no IE support if you're really into Windows. So the general flow is that someone comes on the site and you you call out to one of your peers. Your peers then has to answer that call, and then you, as the person initiating the call, has to handle the answer. So it's a three-step process, and there's also this, I'm going to kind of ignore it, but there's this whole part involving NAT translation using ICE and some other stuff, but it's actually a lot easier than this part. So general process is, right, so this is how you initialize the call. You create a new peer connection, and you tell it what servers you're going to use. You add a stream, and that stream is what you get back from the initialization of the WebRTC get user media call. And then using that peer connection, you create an offer, which is this part. Once the offer is created, you then call these methods called set local description, and you pass in the description, and that sends it off to a peer. And this is where that part I was ignoring, where it does some NAT translation, and that's it to initialize the call. It's really, really simple. And the great thing about all this is you kind of don't even really need to know this, because there's some really, really great libraries that simplify this, like Pure.js. So if you're really into playing with this, I would look there. So the next part is you have to answer the call. And to answer the call, it's also really, really simple. You create a peer connection. You add your stream, which is what we got back when we called get user media. Then you do the same process where you set the remote description, which is really, you don't need to worry about actually what it's doing. And then you create your answer, and you set your local description, which is that answer, and you send it off to the peer that initiated the call. So the last part is the initializer has to answer that call you got back. And so it's actually one call. You get the answer, and you set the remote description of the peer that called you. And so all this time, there was this part called server, which I was sort of ignoring. And so you'd have to implement these in something like Socket.io, or you could even just use a standard GET request and just have the list of peers sent back. For demo purposes, I made this really simple server that actually uses promises to answer. So I can show you the demo. So I'm going to initialize the stream, which is going to create. It's all on one page, so it is peer-to-peer, I promise. So once the stream's initialized, you see 2 of me now. Soon you'll be able to see 4 of me. So this is going to make the call. It's going to have the peer answer the call, and it's going to create another. So this view is the callee. And so the callee has himself. themselves. And then these are this would be the call or the answeree, and this would be the callee. So that's cool. So now how do we get from that to actually making cool GIFs out of this? So the next step is we have to capture video data from that canvas or video data from, image data from the video element to the canvas element. So this is really easy too. So we start. So there's another image of me, and so as I move, I can just capture. All right, so but how do we actually do that? So every time I was clicking that start capture, I just initialized a video stream and created a video element again. From there, every time I click that capture button, all we do is we take a canvas element and we draw onto that canvas element the video element and sort of positional coordinate stuff. Alright, so the last part is how do you create GIFs for multiple video streams. So what we use was this, it's called Gif.js. We actually use it at Tumblr. If you ever made a selfie, you can...
Oh, have I?
So there are these things where you take pictures of yourself and then you post them online. Some people do it with GIFs, but so it's basically, so in order to do it with multiple people, you pretty much do the same thing. You create multiple video elements on the page, and you can just cycle through the elements that you have and draw onto a canvas, and you take that canvas element and you add it to the Gif.js library, and then when you're done and you're ready to go, you can call render, it renders a GIF, and that's it. So if I go back here, so I can move around, capture a bunch, and then this will call that method that was previously shown. And there's the GIF of me. And so you can use, if you do this with, if you actually put all these pieces together, you can make a site that allows you to take GIFs from using WebRTC and make cool GIFs out of it. And I have no idea if this is going to work because I didn't test it at all. But if you go to ekjs.Heroku app, if Heroku's WebSockets actually work, which they say it's really alpha.
Got anyone from Heroku here?
I mean, it's really awesome, but their web sockets are kind of, I don't know. But you have to do this with an Android phone on Chrome if you're in the audience, because that's the only thing that works with it.
Burn!
No one's there? Okay.
No, we're there, we're there.
Oh, you're there?
There's a bunch here.
We see ourselves.
Two.
You actually, oh, sorry.
Yes, we do. We're coming.
So I didn't actually make a button to click, but I do have a console method. I actually don't write a ton of JavaScript where I work. I was writing a lot of Scala this week, so that's probably why I didn't have any time to style this. But, so I'll just do this real quick, and you can see. So there, I'm cycling through the people who are in the room. That's kind of all I got. I'm going to put this all on GitHub, and if you have any other cool questions about making GIFs, come talk to me afterwards.
Have you seen Meat Spaces?
No.
Yeah.
This is exactly
Exactly
Meat
that,
Spaces.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Chat.meetspac.es.
I'm bad at
This is cooler. This is great though, like because I never knew how they did it, and now I do know.
Yeah, and if you want to make more, you should go to mosaic.com. And I showed this to people at Tumblr today, and they kind of went overboard. And so I think these are all Tumblr employees. That's it. Cool.
Pretty good.